Hello, I'm Whalley, welcome to Lenscraft. Today we're diving into the photo persona in Affinity and we're going to tackle adjustment layers and filters. We're starting with the image from our previous video and we have this open in Affinity Photo. If you look over to the right hand side of the interface you can see we have a layers window. Here you can see just the background layer, which is the displayed photo. What we're going to do now is add an adjustment layer to our image. There are a few ways you can do this, but we'll be using the adjustment tab. The tab has a lot of different adjustments that you can apply to the image. For example, you can adjust the levels or the vibrancy or convert the image to black and white. Let's start by adding a vibrancy adjustment layer. When you add a new layer, you'll notice a dialog window opens, and there may also be some thumbnails that appear below the heading. When you click on the thumbnails, it changes the settings in the adjustment dialog. But you can also adjust the settings manually in the window. In this example, I'm going to increase the vibrancy to the maximum value. I can then save this adjustment as a new preset. When you save the new preset, it appears as a new thumbnail. You can also delete and rename these thumbnails by right-clicking on them with your mouse. If we now go back to the Layers tab, you'll see that the new layer's been added. If you select the layer and click on it again, you can rename it. This is a good practice to get into as it helps you organise your editing. Let's go back to the Adjustment tab and this time we'll add a black and white conversion. Rather than select one of the presets though, we'll make our own adjustments using the colour sliders. Back in the Layers tab, we can see that we now have two new layers as well as the original layer. Notice that there's a difference in the type of layer we have. The original background layer is a pixel layer because it's made up of image pixels. The adjustment layers though aren't pixel layers. Instead, these are mathematical calculations the software applies to the image layer to create an effect. It's the combination of all the visible layers that you see here in the preview window. We can turn a layer's visibility off and on by clicking the tick mark to the right of the layer. If we want to, we can also change the opacity of the layer. This controls how strong an effect the layer's having on the image. We can also change something called the blending mode for each layer. This controls how that layer blends with the other layers beneath it. If you want to change the settings you applied with a layer, double-click the layer thumbnail. Let's now look at filters which work slightly differently. Filters can also be used to apply special effects to an image, but unlike adjustment layers, filters are applied directly to the selective layer. It's important to understand when you're applying filters, you need to apply them to a pixel layer or you won't see any effect. Let's start by duplicating our background layer. I'll also move this to the top of the layer stack. Notice how it's hiding all the layers below it. That's because it's a pixel layer and has an opacity of 100% and a blending mode set to normal. This prevents you from seeing the other layers beneath it. Now let's apply the gauge and blur filter again. As I change the radius, notice how it changes the preview. If I click the cancel button, nothing happens to the image, but if I click the apply button, the effect's applied directly to the selected layer. This is known as a destructive edit on the layer. If we decide our effect's too strong, there's no way to adjust it without undoing and starting again. There is, however, an alternative to applying filters directly to a layer. It's called a live filter. You can find these in the Layers menu. You'll notice that the available live filters are similar to the regular filters. And when you add one, the dialog is very similar to the regular filter as well. Notice though that we don't have a cancel or apply button. But there is a merge button. This causes the live filter adjustment to merge with the layer you're editing. It's then working just like the filter we saw before, so I suggest you don't use this unless you need to. Instead, we'll make our change and close the filter. You can now see the live filters being added below the layer we were adjusting. One of the benefits of using a live filter is that we can change the adjustment. We can also turn the effect of the filter on and off in the Layer tab. And we can also reduce the opacity of the filter effect. The final thing I want to show you in today's videos are the icons at the bottom of the Layers tab. Here, there's an icon you can use to add a new adjustment layer. There's also one to add a new live filter. These shortcuts save you time from needing to use either the menu or switching to the adjustment tab. The other useful icon here is the ability to group layers together. If I select all the layers by holding down my Shift key whilst clicking on the top and bottom layers, I can then click the group icon. This places all the layers into a single folder or group in the Layers tab. I can then name the new group to help me with the organisation of my layers. As with other layers, I can toggle the group off and on. And I can change the opacity. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please click the like button below and please share it with others. Next week, we'll be looking at using masks with our layers. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the episode. I'm Whalley, you've been watching Lenscraft. I'll see you next week.